Alright, after showing you pretty much every optimal combo and explaining how to set it up, I am now legally obligated to teach you how to actually play this character. So, Mac has an issue, or well, two big issues. One is his shield safety. So, if you look at his shield numbers, they're super cringe, really cringe for a character with his range. So to circumvent this, we use boost grab, which has pivot variation too. It's pretty cool. It helps boost Mac's grab distance. That's like every variant of grab I just showed there. So we use grab in neutral after baiting out shield with short hops. Usually retreating short hops into straight lunge. We use straight lunge as a neutral tool instead of a advantage pushing tool or a disadvantage tool because it's kind of committal, but not really. So what we would use this for is like say I'm going to run up to someone and bait out an option, or they're already holding shield. I would straight lunge and then do something like a boost grab to grab them out of shield, pummel them a few times, then back throw them for damage, and then follow up from there. But generally in neutral, Mac has to bait out an option from his opponent, because if he commits, there's a greater chance that he's going to lose more than he ever gains. A good tool to win neutral with is dash attack, because of all the distance it covers. Like if you take something like any of his tilts or even his smash attacks, they don't cover anywhere near the same amount of distance as dash attack does. It's a good burst option. It comes out frame 7. It also crosses up shields too, which is pretty cool for mix-up pressure. And a lot of walking. Look at how fast this dude's walk is. You don't even need to run. Running is cool. Like, I looked at my phone screen instead of my... No matter what, he's still covering distance pretty quickly. This is better than some characters' dashes. So you want to use his walking a lot. And the reason why we use his walking is because his dash is actually frame 15, which means after inputting a dash, it'll be like 15 or so frames before you can actually get an option to come out. And because of that, because of how long his dash is, there's a greater chance of you running into a move instead of you actually like approaching and then throwing out the move you want. So doing something like little short hops and then pivoting to throw off which direction you're going to be going in is really good for baiting people out. You also really want to figure out your opponent's effective burst range and stand just outside of it so you can dash attack them. And then later on, you'll want to use things like your down tilt. And then after landing the down tilt, this is more of an intuitive thing. But you'll have to see if they're either to the point where you need to jump and then side special, or if you need to do something like a mix-up option. Because sometimes whenever you down tilt, due to how collision boxes and the general knockback formula in this game works compared to 4, people will be knocked very far away from Mac, which is kind of troublesome if you wanted to get a combo. And whiffing side special and neutral is definitely one of the last things you want to be doing, especially at higher levels where punishes are at their most optimal. And usually, you don't really want to commit to options, even if someone shields. If someone shields, always try to grab them, even if it's in a matchup where you can hit them with anything and get away with it. Because you want to condition yourself to make better habits instead of going for really unsafe options that are only going to work on people in lag, or if they're just like mid-level at the very best. Another thing is in neutral, when walking away, you can also utilize the back hit of his up tilt. It'll catch people running in, and if it catches them, it opens up a lot of earlier combos I didn't mention previously. Like it'll start to trap them into F tilt a lot sooner. There's turnaround jab. There's even the possibility of an up angled F smash if they don't have a buffered option. Like if they're at 40 something percent or 50% and you land the back hit of up tilt, you can pretty much always do a wave bounce haymaker or just turn it around in general. A little mix-up tool in neutral is to input a dash and then counter, and then as you counter, hold the same direction. So I'm dashing, counter, and then when I counter, I'm holding the direction I was dashing in, so that'd be forward. Get you a sliding counter. Mac also needs to be using platforms, but big tip: if someone's already on a platform, don't wave land. That shit is that is super easy to punish for the opponent, and it makes you look stupid. Instead, say the person's right here, you'll want to take this platform and then this one, because by doing this, you can fast fall out of the platform, and it basically covers any attempt they have at gaining center stage. And then once you have center stage, from there it's just a matter of reading movement. And to get better at reading movement, you simply play more. It's not something I can make a guide on and you will watch it and just immediately start doing it. You have to understand where your opponent likes to go and how they like to move before you can start to read it and punish it. So again, with the straight lunge, it's good for baiting out jumps and options from the opponent. With RSL, or red straight lunge, which is when his fist turns red right there, Mac is able to trample every projectile, pretty much every grounded attack, and it's somewhat safer on shield if you hit the middle or late hitbox, depends on matchup. But generally, straight lunge is better the less you commit to it, because it's more of an option coverage tool. Like it covers dash attacks, smash attacks, grab attempts, you name it, unless they like read that you're going to use it. Because after it charges and Mac is able to pop it, it basically becomes a frame 4 smash attack that like just gradually becomes stronger. It becomes weaker if you reverse it or if you pop it while you're in the air, which is expected given how they're going for his moveset here. Another neat little trick you can do is you can kind of make it look like Mac is gliding up and then shield cancel it. Because if anyone throws out a weak attack at you in neutral, which is what they would have to do to catch you while you're using it, you will armor it. And then by the time the end of their animation goes through, you'll be able to pop the move and get basically an equal trade. In matchups where people's moves are very strong, or they don't have many weak hitboxes that do 9.6% or less, you generally don't even want to use straight lunge, like while you're near them. You want to use it while they're at ledge. So remember, a lot of walking, space your moves, respect your opponent's burst range, and make them respect yours by punishing their approaches. If you're dealing with very jumpy opponents, you really want to mix them up from underneath. Like, say that the player is where Game & Watch is right now, and they're just hopping around on this side of the stage, and maybe they're just like throwing out aerials. You don't want to stand there and then like try to time it, you know? You want to like, they're doing this, they're throwing out the aerials, and then once they land and do the aerial, you'll maybe run up, cross them up, and then once they go to throw out that back air or neutral air or whatever they're doing, you cross them up, you throw it a tilt, and then you start pushing from there. But again, it varies from player to player. It's heavily matchup dependent too. A lot of this comes with game sense, which you learn just by playing, by looking at VODs, understanding why people do certain options, why they're better than other options, and why sometimes really crazy moves are better than really simple ones. Mac as a character, he's like a 50-50 character. He's a heavily neutral-oriented character, which means his disadvantage is fine, and his advantage is like based entirely on reads. Except unlike characters like Sephiroth or Marth, who are also very neutral based, Mac doesn't have very good option coverage unless he's forcing tech chases. So if he's not always like putting someone into tech scenarios, he's going to struggle to pressure. Just get a sense for not dashing all over the place. A general tip is if the other person is grounded or doing short hops, you always want to walk. If they're doing full hops or utilizing platforms a lot, that's when you want to dash. And then use things like momentum cancel, which is using a double jump to set yourself up onto platforms or punish platform tech chases by immediately shifting your momentum. Fatality's done a video on this. It uses just the double jump. Because with a double jump, you can instantly change your direction. But with the normal jump, like if I do it while I'm dashing, you can see I'm like flowing back a little bit, but not very fast. But with this, I'm like immediately shooting backwards. Mac moves pretty quickly across platforms. It's actually very hard to platform camp him unless the other player just does not know the counterplay to it. If they don't know the counterplay to it, you can just sit on here and move around and they'll never catch you. But if Mac himself decides to platform camp, he's got things like this or this. And now looking at it, you might think, well, I could punish that. That's easy. He's leaving himself open. That's true. You could punish any move in the game if you perfectly punish them and read it. But what's good about Mac is that he's not a go-to character. He doesn't have that one special option he can use in every scenario, and it's always going to be good for him. He has a lot of really good moves that are basically as good as one another. Even his aerials all have like the same amount of utility they can use and the same amount of reward off of them, depending on whether it's in disadvantage or neutral. Unless it's back air. Back air sucks. This move is terrible. This is actually a bottom 5 move. Think of any move in the game, back air is worse than it. So what makes Max neutral very terrifying is that he makes every move you can possibly think of pretty committal, unless it's like a projectile from over here, and he's like right here. But generally, if you guess wrong, Mac can get in, use aerials on you, extend off of the combos. I know it sounds silly to hear that Mac is using aerials because people have been memeing his aerials for a long time, but thankfully I and several others have actually gone through the trouble of learning how they work, and I've figured out pretty much every usage for them you can think of, which is also listed in the document. Now, because Mac is very read-based, you need to know what you can get off of certain reads, off of different tilts. Like up tilt, up smash will work if they don't jump. Down tilt and down angled F smash works if they don't jump or if they do a nair dodge. You can do something like a down tilt into an IDJ up air and catch their jump, because if they're jumping out of down tilt, that's their double jump. Then you burn their jump with the up air. And you go from there. Another thing is that Mac has the speed and the super armor and the frame data to contest any move in the game if he feels like it. Of course, if it's a super disjointed move being done from like really far away, he'll probably struggle to get in and consistently punish it. But even against Min, even with her range and how much he's able to drift back, if Mac so much as jumps over one of her moves, he gets in and he can just combo her for 30. And at some later stages, will even kill her off of the interaction. So it's all about reading your opponent's options and knowing what they're going to do. Mac will not really carry you at all. He's more of a strong counterpick character who requires a lot of game sense, refined fundamentals to make good use of. And anyone who's not already extremely good at the game is going to make this character look so bad that people will unironically think he's worse than Ganon, who was literally invalidated by patience. So everything you need to know is which moves you can use on shield without the person being able to attack you back, your bread and butters, your mix-ups off of those moves, your platform extensions, You've all seen the IDJ double down air stuff, which again isn't at higher levels. It's not going to benefit you as much as you think it will, unless the other person just doesn't know how to properly time tech chases on platforms. But pretty much everyone at the higher levels does. So just as I guess yet again another reminder of the information is using a lot of walking, burst range, super armor for people who are overly aggressive, and even then you can use the back hit of up tilt to catch their options and then bait something out. Now, one thing I see a lot from a lot of Macs is they use a lot of jab. And something they don't seem to realize is that jab is more of a like 0% thing, because rapid jab will usually set people up on the top platform, and by the time they tech, you can jump and then use side special. On platforms is when Mac is able to really extend some level of advantage using side special. I would not suggest training yourself to do IDJ aerials, because there is IDJ forward air, which has applications nobody besides me has used, mostly because it sucks and it's hard to set up, and it's also not really worth it. Even then, it's outweighed by the benefits of just using side special to cover the entire platform, get that stage control, and a clean 17 to 14 damage, depending on how many times you've used it already. Because remember, even max neutral is very good, but that's only if you know what you're doing. If you haven't like religiously practiced all the things he can do, his neutral isn't going to be very overwhelming. Because if I get hit by a Mac player, okay, and they keep using down tilt, and I keep jumping out of it, and they don't punish my jump, and they also don't punish my landing, it's like I can literally get hit. Like, I can lose neutral almost 10 times and I won't die, while I'm playing a character that probably wins neutral 5 times and kills Mac. So you have to really, really understand your options with him. And one a really good thing to understand is his tech chases. So off of moves like down smash, down angled F smash, F tilt, and F throw, if they don't pick an option for some reason, is that by the time they tech, that's when Mac can move. And most tech rolls in this game are like 20 frames, or they have like 20-ish, maybe 16 frames of invulnerability. So if you set people up with tech chases right here, you can cover everything with down smash, or you can fade back and do a dash attack. Or depending on how badly they missed the tech, you can use straight lunge to cover everything. But straight lunge is better at ledge, which I'll cover in the next video, because his ledge trapping is pretty scary. Mostly because of the potential punish out of it. It's like on par with Wolf. The percentages in which Mac can kill at ledge are so absurd that, like, I'm honestly surprised I see people just not make good use of it. So one last time, all of his neutral concepts: use platforms to set up aerial approaches, don't jump at people a lot, and if you do, try to mix in grabs, use a lot of grabs, because each pummel will unstale a move, and sometimes that move might be the forward tilt or the side special that you need to kill the other person, that you used a few times before, but maybe because it was staled a few times, it was too weak to kill, which can be circumvented by just grabbing. And believe me, even though max aerials don't look very impressive and their follow-ups seem kind of tight, even if you're jumping around, people will naturally like not want to engage with you. So mixing in some short hops with your movement, transitioning from dashing into walking and controlling your space, this character becomes a different kind of beast. He's very hard to fight when the other person knows how to really utilize their movement and make good decisions. So I hope this actually helps you understand the character. If not, that'll be partially on my end, partially on yours. That's how learning goes. Maybe there's a different way for you to learn Mac. Maybe me sitting here and showing you examples and telling you numbers isn't going to help. But my biggest recommendation to you is to open up training mode for at least 20 minutes every day. Practice movement, build good habits, practice your bread and butters, all those things. Because if you really want to take Mac seriously, I would heavily suggest like figuring out how you learn, and then applying all of the things you're teaching yourself in training mode. Only teach yourself things you can apply them every day, and before you know it, you'll be pretty good with a character that a lot of people sleep on. Remember, he is a counterpick character. Uh, Regardless of all the good options I've shown you, all of the concepts I've come up with, he's still a counterpick character. Soloing him is a long uphill road, and it's also kind of painful unless you have a very good mindset already. So thanks for watching. Next up is ledge strapping.